Hi home chefs, welcome to my kitchen, and I'm Rebecca. Today I'm going to make meatloaf. I got my oven warming to 400 degrees. I've got a square, I'm not sure if this one's 8 by 8 or 9 by 9. My oven's ready. And I'm not really sure, but I make mine a little different. When you hump those up or put them in a bread pan, I've had a lot of people tell me they don't get done in the middle, or, they feel a little, wet in there, I'm not sure if it's cooked. And so I've got this from my younger sister when she was cooking for her young kids. She just made it flat. And it all cooked together at the same time. It took quicker to do. And I just find it so much more easier. So basically what you're going to have is this is a little more than a pound. I take what I get and I divide it up, and I always leave out of 4 pounds. It's about 4.5 pounds is what I get. I add a few extra to the bag, and then I make this one a little bigger, and this is for my meatloaf. And so what we're going to do, and of course I'm going to use my hands. They're washed, they're clean when I mix this up. So I'm going to put 1 egg in there. And I'm going to start with, because it just depends, this is probably a good ½ cup of breadcrumbs. And then I don't use chopped onions because my husband does not really care for onions. He likes the taste, but he doesn't like the flavor.
No, I like the flavor. I just don't like the texture.
That's what it is. He doesn't like the texture of them. So I use minced in this recipe because they really kind of just disappear into the meatloaf, and they do leave the taste of it. It is rather good with them. And as I say, I use about 1/4 of a cup in them. And then, of course, I'm going to add some garlic powder to it. And probably a good teaspoon. If you like it a little better, a little more, you can add. And about a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. And I'm going to just get in here, break my egg, and start mixing this together. And of course, I'm going to tell you, the less you mix ground beef, the better the moisture is going to be in it. Now, as I get going, I take ketchup, and I just start pouring some ketchup into it. This is where your flavor is going to come from. And for some reason, ketchup does it really good. Some people add tomato sauce. I don't. And believe me, when I was in South Carolina, our church down there, people wanted me to bring this to potlucks. People wanted me to bring this to funeral dinners. Sick people always requested my meatloaf. Don't ask me why, but they did. And it is. It's rather tasty, and it's rather good. And I know my family likes it. Now, you can add real onion, real bell pepper, if that's the stuff you like. As I said, this is just like the main menu of ingredients, and then you can take it from there. But since I and my husband don't care for red, green, stuff like that in meatloaf, we don't do it. And you can usually tell it'll hold together. And if it holds together, that's it. You're done. And all you got to do is pour it into the pan. And this is 80/20 ground beef. So you're going to know when it's done because the sides are going to get real dark. Your fat is going to come out a lot. And you're going to really know when this is done. So what I do now is I just take my ketchup and I just start pouring. I've used in here tomato soup before, tomato sauce. I've used all kinds of stuff in my meatloaf, and this is the one that I think is the best, and it works for us. And so you just are going to have to try it. If you would rather have tomato soup in it, use it, and I've done it, use it concentrated, don't mix water in it, and then put your, maybe a combination of ketchup and the rest of the tomato soup in it and put it on the top. I've done that. Makes a wonderful little sauce. I've used tomato sauce. I've used chunks of tomatoes. A can of, I think I put them up, but I had them out. Oh, a can of stewed tomatoes will work too in there. And then you have that chunky tomato flavor in it. But this is the one that seems to work for him and I. And so I'm going to stick it in the oven. And I will, ooh, I didn't know I had a pan in there. I will check it here in about 30 minutes. 30 to 35 minutes, I'll check it and see if it's done. We are having, I had some potatoes I needed to get used, so I made potatoes in the Instapot, and I'm going to mash them. And we're not having green beans this time, we're having corn. That's one of his favorites. So, if you have any questions, we'll come back and we'll look at the finished product, and I'll pull my dinner together, and I'll see you in a few. Okay, we're back, and my meatloaf is done. And as I said, you can see that everything is done. And I immediately take it out of the pan. I divide it in half and I take it out of the pan. And as you can see, it's done. It's juicy. Hasn't lost anything. It's not a dried up piece of meat. It's a very nice looking piece of meat. And so I got my corn going on the stove. And my frozen potatoes, I thawed out in the microwave. And they got about 2 seconds. You're going to hear it go off. Now as you can see, they're steaming because they're hot and ready to go. And what I did is I just cooked these for 5 minutes, chopped them up, cooked them for 5 minutes in the Instant Pot. And now I'm just going to add some milk. And that wasn't probably like 1/4 of a cup. And I'm just going to whip them up. And it's so easy. I keep these things like this because I'm a busy person myself. Going to Bible studies, going to church. I have good friends that I'm with and family. I put salt and pepper in there. And that was about, I'm close to 1/2 cup of butter. But who doesn't like mashed potatoes with butter? And the meatloaf took 20 minutes. And there's my mashed potatoes. I'll put some more butter on them here. My corn is almost done. And we're ready to eat. Now, if you like what you're seeing, you can hit the subscribe button and like our video. We will see you next time in Rebecca's Kitchen. Thank you.